And if you're not already there, please go to the Idaho ERC website and look at this evening's slides. So I'm sure everybody's already knows what we're going to speak about tonight. We're going to talk about final instructions and explanation and answer questions regarding this weekend's training. We have spent the last 3 months making announcements and training our ERC operators with on-the-air training, with website instructions, with email instructions, and we've even provided an in-person training for stake specialists. All of this in an attempt to help wards and stakes become better prepared, not only for this ERC exercise, but for whatever may lie ahead. We even had glossy colored invitations printed that were given to every stake specialist or their stake leadership if we did not have record of a stake specialist in a particular stake. So we provided every stake with a printed invitation inviting them to come and learn how to prepare their stakes and wards, and we did that starting 3 months ago. Everything that we've been training on and teaching and encouraging is nothing new. It's the same things that we've been training on for many years now, and so it's not new. If it seems new, it's maybe just because it's new to you, but we've been providing the same guidance and instruction for a long time, and I think this exercise will help bring the concepts together in a unique and fun way. So we also created a new YouTube channel over the last 3 months, and we started recording all of our weekly trainings in an effort to help prepare our emergency communicators, both our amateur radio operators who have the opportunity to listen to this training live on the air each Wednesday, and also to GMRS, commercial, MERS, and satellite or smoke signal operators, whatever communications medium that wards and stakes have chosen to conduct their emergency communications on. We provided this training via YouTube videos in an effort to try and spread the word and make it easier for stake specialists and ward specialists to share this information with both amateur radio operators as well as those that don't have access to hearing this. And we're now down to the wire, so we're excited, and we think we have some good things planned. Let's go to slide number 2. So the exercise is this Saturday, June 14th. It will start a little earlier than we have in the past, so please be prepared. You'll start hearing radio traffic beginning at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So set your alarms, get up early so that you can be ready and have things set up for you individually as well as wards and stakes. We, as with most all of our exercises, are encouraging all radio operators to get out of the house, to grab your go kits, grab your portable equipment, whether it's in your vehicle, whether you have a go kit that you want to go somewhere and set up with, whatever you want to do to exercise your personal capabilities or the capabilities of your ward and stake. This is your opportunity to try everything out. So you have a couple of days left to do your final preparations and get ready to go. So we encourage everybody to be listening by 7 o'clock and there are going to be, for the first time, 3 different options. Actually, technically, there'll be 4. So the first option is one that we always start off every exercise with, and that's on this repeater, the 146.88 megahertz repeater. So for all amateur radio operators or those that have a scanner, have the ability to listen to this frequency, this is where we always start our exercises. The reason we do that is because this is where we would, any emergency, actual emergency that we would have, it's always going to start on this frequency. And it may not even move to another frequency unless it needs to. So this is where we always start, and that's where we train to always listen to this frequency. So in addition to amateur radio, if you have a GMRS or FRS radio, please notify those operators in your wards and stakes that they should be listening, also beginning at 7 o'clock, on either GMRS channel 16 or 17. Well, I say GMRS because it will be a GMRS repeater, but you can receive those on any FRS radio. So just turn that FRS radio to channel 16 or 17, find which one has the best signal when there's a transmission, and listen to that channel. So we will have 3 frequencies that you'll be able to listen to. We will also have, for the first time, Starlink internet services. So those operators that have a portable Starlink system, information has been mailed out as well as on the ERC website with instructions and the requirements for joining that Starlink system. You actually don't have to use Starlink, but it's probably the most common that we have available. So any satellite system that is using emergency power is welcome to join using the instructions that have been sent out in email and on the website. So at 7 o'clock, you'll just hear some transmissions that you can listen to while you're doing your final preparations and setup. And the actual exercise will begin promptly at 8 o'clock a.m. this Saturday, the 14th. We'll go through what will happen during the exercise here in just a moment. And then the exercise will end promptly at 12 o'clock noon. So at noon, everyone will be excused, and you'll be able to go on and enjoy the rest of your Saturday doing other things. In the event that you don't have the time to spend the full time, there is a way for you to exit the exercise and have your assigned needs and resources that we'll talk about here in a minute reassigned to someone else so that it doesn't negatively impact anyone else in the exercise. We encourage everybody, if at all possible, to join this exercise and plan to be there through until noon. It'll be well worth it. If you prioritize this, you'll be blessed with experience, and you'll learn things that I guarantee will be helpful for you in one way or another. So everyone is encouraged to spend the whole time. If you can't, there will be an option for you to leave early if you need to. At the end, after 12, in the past, we've had lessons learned meetings either in person or online through like a Zoom call. This time, we will provide a link for an online evaluation. We would encourage everybody that participates any length of time in the exercise in any capacity to go fill out the evaluation after the exercise. It really helps us going forward, and we've taken many of the recommendations from previous exercises have been incorporated into this exercise to help improve it. Let's go to the next slide, slide number 3. So again, the purpose of ERC exercises are to help us train and prepare for actual emergencies. And these exercises provide wards and stakes, an opportunity to exercise, it says test, but it should say exercise their emergency communication capabilities. It gives participants an opportunity to exercise emergency operations in a training environment. It gives participants a unique opportunity to exercise their equipment during the training exercise that you don't receive just by checking into a weekly net. To make sure everybody is clear, this is not a mock disaster. We do not ever conduct mock disasters in the ERC. This is a training exercise. We have been encouraged by church headquarters to conduct regular emergency communication training exercises, which is what this is, at the advice and in consultation with our priesthood leaders and church headquarters. Let's go to slide number 4. So to be clear, this exercise is training and it's not a test. We've had some people that look at this as a test and they don't want to participate because they know they're going to fail the test. No, you can't fail this test because it's not a test. It's actually a training exercise in the form of some fun and kind of an exercise that I think will be a lot of fun. And so we're looking forward to this. So no matter how prepared or unprepared you think you may be, please come out and join and give it a try. I think you'll learn a lot, and I think you'll have fun in the process. Let's go to slide number 5. So, as stated, you will learn more about emergency communications in a few hours than you will be by simply checking in to these radio nets for a year. So, it really is a very compressed, compact way to learn a lot in a short period of time, and it's a lot of fun. Let's go to slide number 6. The reason why it works so well is because you gain actual experience by performing radio operations. You get a chance to practice communicating clearly and efficiently on the air. Everybody that wants to will get a chance to do that, and they are given instructions on what to do and what to say. You will gain a greater understanding of emergency operations for communications, and again, you'll have a lot of fun in the process of learning. Let's go to slide number 7. So again, the exercise will start on this repeater, and also, for the first time, 2 GMRS repeaters. So, at 7 o'clock, beginning at 7, if you tune into this frequency, the 146.88 megahertz repeater in Eastern Idaho, you can listen on amateur radio. If you can also listen in on GMRS or FRS radios on channel 16 that serves primarily the Idaho Falls and surrounding areas. Channel 17 is actually on Garnes above Driggs, and you can copy that on FRS and GMRS from Island Park to Blackfoot. There are obviously dead spots in certain areas, but between these 2 channels, you should be able to hear. And so this will give many more people an opportunity to hear our introductory instruction beginning at 7 o'clock, and also hear us kick off the actual exercise beginning at 8 o'clock. After that, those repeaters will be free for anybody to use as part of however you need to communicate during the exercise, and so there won't be much, if any, traffic after the initial 8 o'clock on those GMRS repeaters, and also the 8A repeater are primary to get things going, and they can, again, these repeaters can all be used by anyone who needs to use a repeater in order to conduct the communication from the warden stakes. Let's go to slide number 8. So after 8 o'clock, we kick everything off, provide some instruction, and then the next thing that happens is we will divide everybody into smaller nets. So amateur radio operators will be divided into their communication regions, and so everyone will be instructed to change frequency to your regional net frequency. GMRS and FRS and other radio service operators will be directed to change to their ward or stake frequency. However you have things organized as a ward or stake, you change that frequency. If you have an organized ward net, you would change to your ward net frequency for GMRS and FRS. If things aren't organized quite so well, maybe you have a stake frequency that you would change to. And during the beginning of the exercise, during the communications region net, when we switch to those, we will try and help everybody divide up into ways that make sense. So in other words, if you only have one person in your ward, then we'll encourage you to join up with another ward in your stake. If your stake only has a couple of people, then you wouldn't have any ward nets. So we will leave it up to the stake net control operators to coordinate that with your wards and organize things appropriately. So there are no rules. You don't have to start off with the ward net, then go to a stake net. You do whatever makes the most sense for you in your organization. And again, if you happen to be in a ward or stake that is less prepared, we will help you to join with another neighboring stake so that you can still participate in the exercise. So regardless of your preparedness level, please join, and you'll receive instruction as we start the exercise on the repeaters and then change to these other frequencies. Let's go to slide number 9. So just as a quick recap, everybody will have a home radio net that they will be communicating on with whatever their pre-established frequency is for the duration of this exercise. So after things get split into the region, they're going to be further split into a stake net. Stakes will then organize things down into a ward net. So it'll go from the region net to a stake net. Stakes and whoever the stake net control up. And if you happen to be in a stake and nobody shows up under stake frequency, but you or a few people, one of you, take charge and become the net control operator for your stake if you need to, and organize whoever's on frequency. If you have multiple wards, operators of the WordNet, then you instruct those ward operators to go off onto their ward frequencies and communicate using their ward frequency. If you need to, you might just have one stake net, and so you'll still have a stake net to coordinate with your wards, and there will also be a region net that coordinates the stakes. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll kind of explain how this will work. So from a WordNet perspective, you'll have, or you should have, if you have a WordNet, you'll have WordNet control operators. You could have one. Hopefully, your WordNet control, you'll have a WordNet control team that will have at least two people, a WordNet control operator and a stake net liaison that basically connects your ward to the stake. So in this image on slide number 10, the operator on the left that's labeled WordNet, that's your WordNet control operator that is communicating with all the operators in your ward. Okay? So all the ward operators, when they get on that ward frequency, that's where they're going to stay for the duration of the exercise, and they will be communicating with each other and also with the WordNet control operator. Then, any information needs to be passed beyond your ward, which there will be a lot of things, that's going to get passed over to that stake operator who's going to pass it up to the stake net where it will be shared with all the other wards in your stake. So this is what your WordNet looks like and how it kind of functions, or how it would be if you had a WordNet. Go to slide number 11. Let's talk about the stake net. Same exact layout, except the operator on the left is your stake net control operator, and his job is to provide, he's the traffic cop, providing all the communication coordination with all of the wards in your stake. Okay? If you don't have any wards with communication capability, I guess you have one stake net with who shows up, and you organize things however you have it. So we leave things, it's up to wards and stakes for how they communicate. Ultimately, wards should be organized with a WordNet, and stakes should be organized with a stake net where they can communicate with their wards. But we know that this is not a perfect world, and not everybody is quite at the point where they may want to be. So again, we leave it up to the stake to help coordinate things with your wards, and the wards coordinate with the operators in your wards. So at the stake level, you'll have another operator whose job is to be the liaison between the stake net and the region. The region ends up being just representatives from each of the stakes. So this region net will be none of the other operators but these liaisons from each of the stakes. So that allows each of the stakes to be able to talk with each other on a separate frequency where they can share information back and forth. So by having ward nets and stake nets and these region nets, it allows us to separate the traffic, and we can combine all of these and cross services such as GMRS or FRS to amateur radio, and amateur radio to other amateur HF or to satellite systems, or whatever we need to exchange and coordinate this traffic. So in essence, let's go to the next slide and we'll talk about how this works out. Slide number 12. So this is what it looks like all together, where you've got a stake net with all your wards. It's not depicted on here to simplify it, but wards would have ward nets. And then with the region, you have all the stakes tied together. And then there is a storehouse, we call it, level, where it's where all of the regions tie together. So we tie wards to stakes, stakes to regions, and regions all together through the storehouse. This allows everybody to stay on their assigned net frequency, whether that's a ward net, stake net, a liaison to the region, or a region liaison to the storehouse. We can communicate everything that we need to. So if you can't find a need, if you can't find the resource to a need on your ward net, you pass it up to the stake. The stake passes that around to all the ward operators, or all the ward representatives on the stake net, and then they find all the matches they can. And here's a hint, most of your matches will be within your own stake, okay? Those things that can be matched then get passed up to the region and shared with the other stakes in the region, okay? And then you'll get the next greater number of matches at your own region. Then you'll have some that aren't going to be a match within your ward or your stake or your region, And those are going to get passed up to the storehouse level where they're shared between all of the regions. And until they find a match, and then they pass down the call sign of whoever has the resource all the way down to the operator who needs it. So it seems complicated, but it's not, because really you're just operating on your own net with the other people in your ward or your stake. And where everybody, you don't have to worry about jumping around at different frequencies and figuring out where it's at. No, you just stay on your own net, and each net has the ability to have a liaison with the next level up net, and that's how we pass things around. Everybody will get the feel of it and the hang of it as it goes, but it's a lot of fun. So let's talk about what we're going to do once we get all these nets set up. Let's go to slide number 13. So, as we've stated in previous trainings, everyone will be assigned needs and resources. Needs are things that somebody needs. It might be a thing. It might be a person that has a certain skill. Things like medications. It could be services that need to be performed. For instance, we need some sandbaggers. Whatever those things are, those will be a need. So in this exercise, there will be only one need that matches one resource. In other words, there won't be multiple operators with a resource that matches somebody's needs. This will be a one-to-one ratio. So there's only one resource to match any need that you have. And the resources that you have match somebody else's needs. So this is why everybody needs to stay in the exercise for the full time, or there is an option in the app for you to exit the exercise. And when you do, it takes any remaining resources that you are having and it assigns to somebody else, and then it takes somebody else's matching resource away from them. And so this is a really neat feature because it allows people that need to come and go the option to do that if they really need to. So you can come and go. It's all up to you. You control it all through your interaction with the app. It's very simple. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And so that's kind of a neat thing. Let's go to slide number 14. So here's a basic concept everyone needs to understand. We don't advertise resources. We only advertise needs. So, and the reason is, in the real world, there's an infinite number of resources, but you only have a finite number of needs that somebody actually needs. And so, oftentimes, in fact, I would say probably in almost every major emergency, there are people that are very well-intentioned that like to they want to help in some way. And so one of the common things that happens is somebody says, hey, there's people down at this shelter or at this area doing this task. I'll bet they need some snacks and some water. And so they'll head to Costco or they'll pull it out of their supply and they'll go down and they'll offer up a resource. Well, it sounds nice, but in reality the problem is you can have unneeded resources stacking up, so it becomes a problem. So we don't advertise resources, we advertise the needs that we're looking for. So let's go to the next slide, number 15. So as we stated, the application that we're going to talk about here next, when you're ready, it will assign you 3 needs and 3 resources. Your goal is to find the resources to match each of your needs, okay? And you'll need to give away the resources. In other words, tell somebody that you have a resource that matches an announced need, okay? So you're going to have to listen to all the radio traffic, and it's going to come in a little at a time. So you're going to have to be listening and paying attention and recording things and making sure that you know your needs and your resources, making sure that your needs get shared, and everybody understands that you have these needs, and then those needs get passed up to the next level of net if they can't be found. And if you haven't gotten a resource match, then you probably want to ask again, say, hey, I still have this need. And let the net control operator pass that along, that you're still missing a need. And again, listen for the resources so that if you can offer your match. So the key to getting a match is call sign. So every operator, whether they are an amateur radio operator with an FCC amateur radio license or they're a GMRS operator with a FCC GMRS license, or they're an FRS operator or other operator that doesn't have a call sign, or, for instance, if you have a family of 3 or 4 people, only one of you with a GMRS license is going to be able to use your GMRS license, okay? Because the system is going to require a unique, quote-unquote, call sign. So the system will assign you a unique identifier that we call a call sign during the exercise. But we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But passing that call sign from the person that has the resource down the person that has the need is how you get a match. And once you get a match, it indicates there's a match on both the operator that has the need and the operator that has the resource. Your app will change and it'll indicate that you have a match every time you get a match. So you can keep tabs on how you're doing just by looking at your app. Let's go to slide number 16. So you will need internet access on either a smartphone, a tablet, or computer. One of those, this will work. We call it an app, but it's really just a website that's designed to change how it looks. It reshapes itself depending on what kind of display you have. So it's designed to look really good on a phone. So if you have your phone and you've got internet access, that's what you need. So during the exercise, you'll be asked not to use internet or your phone or commercial electricity for anything during the exercise, except you can use whatever you need to gain access. We recommend that you use emergency power to power your radio or your phone or whatever. In other words, not tied to commercial power, but for purposes of the exercise, you can power it however you need, and you will have internet access however you get it. And that's just so that we can share information and provide this tool that makes this exercise work and gives everybody something to say and do. Let's go to slide number 17. So if you haven't already registered for the exercise, please go out to exercise.idahoerc.org/signup. The link is at the bottom of this slide. So come back to slide 17 if you need to, and there's your link to sign up. It's going to ask you for your name, your email address. It's going to ask you to select a 6-digit PIN code. Anything you want to put down, this is basically your password that you put in with your email in order to sign into the exercise on Saturday morning. It's going to ask you for your stake. It's going to ask you to select what radio service you're using. This is just the primary service, so I know some of you are going to be using amateur radio and GMRS, for example. Just pick one. Whichever one is going to be your primary communication tool, you think, just pick one. It's just for us to kind of get an idea for who was on what radio services. And it's going to ask you for your call sign. So again, this has to be unique. So put in your amateur call sign if you have one. You can use your GMRS call sign if you have one. If anybody else in your family wants to use that call sign, they can't. Only one of you can. So all you do is leave it blank, and the system will assign you a call sign that's going to show up on your screen the whole time through the whole exercise. So you won't have to try and remember it. It'll be right there on the app after you log in on the morning of the exercise. So it's really simple. It takes about 20 seconds for you to sign up, and then you're good to go. If you forget and don't sign up until the exercise, not a problem. You can sign up anytime before noon during the exercise. So if somebody comes in late, they can go sign up, grab a radio, jump on, and the system will automatically find you some needs and resources and automatically ask people to take on a resource to match up with you. So it's kind of cool that way. That allows us to be very flexible all the way through the exercise. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, we're on slide number 18. So on the morning of the exercise, the URL that you go to, and you will need to know this, exercise.idahoerc.org. That's it. Just type in that, and then it's going to ask you to log in with your email address and the PIN code that you selected when you registered. That's all it takes to get on the system and ready to go. And so everybody should be on and ready to go before 8 o'clock is preferable. If you want to do it after, you can, but you're encouraged to be logged in and ready to go by 8 o'clock. Okay, the system's going to ask you if you're ready for needs, there's a green button. You can see it on the right. It says, I'm ready to be assigned needs. So if you are not a net control operator, click on I'm ready to be assigned needs. If you are, we don't encourage you. We discourage you from accepting needs and resources, because you're going to be busy passing all the traffic and coordinating needs and resources for everybody else. So your role in the exercise as a net control operator is to do that function. And everybody else that's not a net control operator should click on the I'm ready to be assigned needs. And if you do that before 8 o'clock, it'll be kind of in standby mode, and then everybody at the same time will be assigned your needs and resources when we actually start the exercise, which will be shortly after 8 o'clock, after we welcome everybody, provide some basic instruction. Then we're going to push all the needs and resources out to everybody's phone or tablet or computer, and so they'll all show up at the same time to everybody, and then we'll be ready to go. So let's go to the next slide, slide number 20. So the next step is to go and find a resource to match each of your needs. So you will have each of your needs listed. So if you look over on the right side, it shows a need of Dr. Nelson's vitamin pills, spiritual variety pack. Okay? You're going to announce that's a need that you have. If that's one of your needs that you have listed, you announce it on your WordNet or your StakeNet, or they get passed up to the different nets. And then when somebody has a match for you that has the resource, right there where it says resource call sign, you enter the call sign that you will be told on your radio net. So it'll come back, it'll get passed either on your WordNet, or it'll come down from your StakeNet, or it'll come down from another net and get passed to whatever net that you're on. And all you have to do is enter in the call sign that you're told, and click on fulfill need. And if it's a match, bingo, you get a check mark, and you've got your first match. And you're looking to match, again, all three of your needs. And also, listen for people who have a need. You give them your call sign and tell them that you have a matching resource. And as soon as they put your call sign in, then it's going to indicate that you guys both made a match. Let's go to the next slide. So again, once you're on your net, how do you participate? You announce your needs on your WordNet, or if you're on a StakeNet, on your StakeNet. And then you listen to all the other operators on your WordNet and check to see if you have a resource that matches anybody else's need. So anybody else that says a need that's going to be an exact match to what you have listed is your resource, then you give out your resource. And now you've got a match. So you have the potential to get a total of 6 matches, 3 need matches and 3 resource matches. And if you're an overachiever, you can ask the app to give you additional needs if you want. So if you've matched all of your needs and it's still early in the exercise, good job. Ask the app for another one. It'll find somebody to take on your resource, and then you can go and start trying to find another match. And you can ask for as many as you want, but we encourage you to try and match everything that you've got. But you can do everything through the app, and then you rinse and repeat. So this is the exercise, and you'll start hearing a lot of radio traffic, and you'll learn how if it can't be found, the match can't be found on your net that you're on, WordNet, StakeNet, whatever, then you ask the net control operator to pass it on to the next net. So that net control team will record all of those things and pass it up the line until they find a match, and then it comes back down and finds you. So you're going to continue to do that, and you're going to learn how to use phonetics. That's instead of saying A, B, C, D, you're going to learn that some of those letters sound very similar when you're talking over the air. So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie instead of A, B, C. In other words, so you can give yourself a cheat sheet if you'd like with those, but we encourage everybody to use your phonetics when you're spelling things out. But it's up to you to communicate things as quickly and efficiently as possible during the exercise. Let's go to slide number 22. So again, when you have a match, you'll get this white box with a green check mark. That green check or the white check, I guess, on the green dot, that means that you just made a match. So whether you made a match because you found a resource for your, because you found a resource for your need, then that green check will come up, and then if it comes the other way, it'll show up on some stats. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll show you what that is. So at the bottom of your app, you'll see a box that says stats, and it shows the number of needs that have been fulfilled. So in other words, if you found a resource to match one of your needs, it'll say 1. If you gave away 2 of your resources to somebody else that had the needs, it'll show 2 there. So ultimately, if you find all of your needs and resources, you'll find a 3 in each of those. So that kind of shows you how you're doing. And if you ask for more, you can make those numbers go higher than 3 even. So they'll all start off with 0 until you find some matches. Let's go to the next slide. So you have a couple of days to get ready. Again, we encourage everybody to operate from your vehicle or a portable operation with a handheld, mobile radio, whatever you have available. Whatever, if you have a Go kit, this is your chance to use it in a great exercise. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be said over the air. You need the ability to record those. At a minimum, no pad and paper. If you prefer to record things on a laptop that's running on battery power, or you've got a generator to run your laptop, by all means, do whatever you need to record this. So net control teams, they're all encouraged to have laptops. If you're a scribe for net control, it'd be great if you had a laptop too, because it makes things easier. If you don't like typing and you just like paper and pencil, more power to you. But the bottom line is you're going to need to keep track of things, a lot of things, during the exercise. So be prepared to record everything that you hear so that you can pass things along, especially when you're in the net control position or a scribe working with the net control. You got to record a lot of information so it can be passed up to the next net, or shared on the current net and passed up to the next net. Also, as with any emergency or exercise, we encourage you to be familiar with your ward and stake boundaries. If you've got a map, that's great. Print it out on paper, even better. If you've got emergency contact information for your ward and stake leadership and emergency communicators, those are things that you should always have available, because you never know if it's only available on a computer or on a Google Drive, it's not going to help you if the internet's not available, your device isn't. So make sure you have a way to get to those things. Go to slide number 25. Just as a recap, the storehouse region and stake nets, make sure that you're able to listen into either 146.88 megahertz repeater on amateur radio or GMRS channel 16 or 17, whichever one's louder for you at whatever location you're at. And if you don't have these programmed into your radio, it'd be a good thing for you to have programmed in and be prepared, because this is where all the good stuff is going to happen as the exercise starts. Let's go to slide number 26. Again, if you haven't signed up for the exercise, go to exercise.idahoerc.org and get signed up. Let's go to slide number 27. Okay. I went through a whole lot of stuff to try and make it as clear as I can based on a lot of questions that have been coming in, so hopefully we covered most of what there may be, but I'll stand by for any questions. Please come with your call sign now. This is NF7J.
N7 NHM.
NHM, go ahead, Alan.
The question I have is, I just got home just tonight from back surgery, so I'm not going to be able to do much more than sit on my radio right here at my house. So where does that stand as far as going out and getting things?
Alan, you can participate from wherever you need to, and I hope you heal well. So I didn't realize you were having surgery, so we wish you luck. And all you need to do, Alan, is go out and sign up for the exercise. Go back and look at these slides and click on the links. Sign up, and then the morning of the exercise, go to exercise.idahoerc.org. Log in, and you can receive some needs and resources and coordinate them right from wherever you need to. Any other comments or questions, please come down.
W7KEA?
Station ending in EA, go ahead.
This is Whiskey Kilo Echo Alpha from Island Park. Is there any reason for net control operators to sign up on the website and to be on the website during the exercise? Over.
That's a great question. So actually, even though you're a net control operator, go ahead and sign up for the exercise. Just don't accept any of the needs and resources. Or if you do accidentally, you can just back out of those. So the reason is it gives us a good count of the number of operators that participated. So you can go ahead and sign up, even though you're net control, part of the net control team. Just don't accept needs or resources. And again, if somebody does, not a problem. You basically just back out. Any other comments or questions?
KS17.
CBT, go ahead.
So just one note I wanted to make on the numbers we've given so far with 3 needs and 3 resources. Just want to let everybody, 3 may not end up exactly like that. You have your stake, and then as well as request additional needs assignments as the exercise goes on. So if you are prompted for more than 3 resources, feel free to accept them. And then more of a question, I think in the previous exercise we had precedent as well, like emergency and welfare, that sort of thing. Are we including that in this iteration of the exercise, or are we doing away with the priority or precedence?
Oh, great comment. I've left those off all the previous slides. So yes, there is a priority listed with each of the needs and resources. Is that still showing, Caleb?
Yep, it's there. I just wanted to double check that's actually part of the exercise.
Yes, so that's so you're going to see, and Caleb, that's a really good point. You may be asked to take on more than just 3 resources, for example, and so those numbers can definitely change, and will for many of you over the course of the exercise. So keep watching your needs and resources, because they can change. It's going to ask you before it changes to take on another resource, but it'll ask you. But when you announce your need, indicate the priority, because some of these items have a greater priority than others, and the net control team needs to make sure those get passed first. So, for example, if it's a medication, chances are it might be a priority need, and that's going to be done in advance of other things that are going to be of a lower priority. So just look at the app. It'll tell you what that priority is. Net control teams, make sure and pay attention to those things that are of a higher priority so they get taken care of first. So thanks, Caleb. Excellent comment that we'd forgotten to mention. Any other comments or questions?
K7NGH.
NGH, go ahead.
I've had all kinds of interruptions tonight of all nights, but anyway, this question may have been asked. I don't know. I can't get on my site any longer. Won't accept any reset passwords or anything. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me there?
Yeah, are you talking the Idaho ERC website or the exercise.idaho ERC?
Exercise ERC.
So yeah, send an email to Caleb. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it exercise@idahoerc.org?
Yep, that's correct. And NGH, if you want to just stick around after the net, I'll take a look at my side here, and then I'll see if there's anything obvious. Otherwise, I'll just have you send an email.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, and anybody else that has any questions regarding the exercise app and so forth, you can send an email to, again, it's exercise@idahoerc.org. Any other comments or questions, please come down. Oh, go ahead. You'll receive that instruction at the beginning of the exercise that no, cell phones are not allowed except for the app. As far as using cell phones to make calls, nope, we're going to assume for purposes of the exercise that power is out and that cell phones and the internet is unavailable. So except for the exercise app, those things will be off limits. As far as frequencies, that's going to be up to wards and stakes to however they those want to be organized. Any other comments or questions? Okay, so this recording from tonight will be up on the website by sometime tomorrow, as well as all of our previous trainings. So please, if anybody hasn't reviewed some of these trainings, you have a chance. Go look at them on. It's all on YouTube. You can just follow the links on the ERC website. There's emails that have been sent out to everybody with those links as well, announcing the YouTube channel. So there's plenty of information in emails, information on the website, information on YouTube. And if you still have questions, you can send questions to an email to exercise@idahoerc.org. With that, we've gone long, and so we appreciate everybody that's stuck around, and good luck, and we look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday morning, bright and early, 7 o'clock. This is NF7J, back to net control.
Thank you, Kevin, for providing this evening's training. This is Kilo 7 Sierra Echo Echo Net Control Station for this ERC net. For the information of those on the net, the regional reports are as follows. The Salmon Stake, there was no report. The Idaho Falls North region had 30 check-ins with 27 on emergency power. The South region had 22 check-ins. All 22 were on emergency power. The Rexburg region had 35 check-ins with 27 on emergency power. And the Rigby region had 24 check-ins with 23 on emergency power, for a grand total of 111 check-ins with 99 on emergency power. Is there any additional traffic or system business for the ERC net? I would like to thank everyone for your participation in this evening's net. The emergency response communications net is now closed, and all stations are released. This is K7SEE in Idaho Falls, Idaho. The frequency is now clear for normal communications.